I'm Otto Piene, and my plans were approved. At one time I made a presentation to the entire collected members of the Senate and the House of Representatives, and it was a very lively presentation and exchange between the lawmakers and me, the artist from Boston. I think in a certain way, and I didn't made friends in Hawaii among the legislators as well as among the artists and the academic population, and it was kind of a happy collaboration from the start. And this is now quite a while ago when that happened. I have not lost my somewhat instant love to Hawaii. It's really very, very important. It's been very important in my life. And when I heard that I was invited to go again, I was sorry that I couldn't for technical reasons, timing reasons, all that. So that's why we're here doing an interview in Groton, Massachusetts. So one thing that I was asked to do was this commission in Hawaii, namely to develop light sculptures for the House of Representatives and the Senate space in the new state capitol in Honolulu, which was initially still under construction, and then while I was working on it, it was completed and became a very interesting building and became a very interesting project to work on. So I was invited to Hawaii. Actually went to Hawaii several times before I actually started the work, and I developed the concept for the sun. That's the sculpture, kinetic light sculpture in the Senate, and the moon, that's the kinetic light sculpture in the House of Representatives. The idea that I would do that, meaning not thematically, but to do sculptures for the Capitol, came from the architects, and the architects were quite enthusiastic about how I went about it. And something that resulted was that I was invited again to Hawaii to see the islands, to see the state, to see nature, culture and technology of the Hawaii Islands. And I realized how much life in Hawaii was related to the ocean and the sky, how strong the role of the sun was in life and work in Hawaii, and how equally important the moon was, and that the the tides and the and sunrise and sunset were reigning, as in R-E-I-G-N-I-N-G, all the life in Hawaii, more than in other states or in other countries, and I was very, very impressed by that. And it's the beauty depended very much on the proximity, the closeness between nature and life and work. So hence the sun, which is a sculpture basically with a round shape, and it's gold plated. It's real gold that was used for the gold plating, and the moon, which consists of nautilus shells, nautilus shells that have been treated to iridesce, and they again. Here's the ocean. Here's where the islands are, in the middle of nature above and nature below, and nature wet and nature dry and nature cold. I mentioned that earlier because it's snow outside in Groton, Massachusetts, that I have seen even snowing and snow in Hawaii, so it's all there. And the installation became an interesting process, and the binding into the rest of the architecture or the Capitol building became a very interesting process. And the way I see it, it all fit pretty well. And I was proud to do this piece, and it went through a very, beautiful, democratic sequence of steps to get together to become what it is, and that alone was rather interesting for me, and how it was observed and how it was appreciated by the citizens, the Hawaiians who part of the Capitol, rightfully so. The Capitol is a remarkable building, a beautiful piece of architecture. So that's what made it very, very important and very attractive to me from the start. But it did make a lot of sense to me in a certain way. This is how I saw the role of architecture in public life, and how it could indeed bring peoples together, so to speak. The Hawaii population is interesting and it's very diverse, but on the other hand, the Hawaiians are very proud of being Hawaiians, and that's interesting to witness and to work with this element, this kind of ethnic element, with all the things it comes with music, with lore, with mythology. The reference and the reverence for the volcanoes, the mountains, the mythology that came with that, and I somehow got more deeply into what it all meant and how it all had happened and how it all hangs together to this day, I think. So it does make sense. To me, I'm talking Podomo now, but I think it's public art that somehow is plausible and maybe also strong enough to appeal to not only the population of the state, but also lots of visitors, because visitors are important to Hawaii. The entire inventory of the Capitol chambers started aging, and as it continued aging, the people in Hawaii and people of the legislature decided that they wanted to overhaul this quote-unquote Capitol furniture, and asked me to come to Honolulu again. I'd there quite a few times in between, but this for the specific purpose of looking at the sculptures, because the sculptures were also kinetic. The sun and moon would appear in rhythmic passages, electric lights lighting up in the colors of the 7 colors of the rainbow, and that was an important part of the entire kinetic plan and kinetic equipment of both the sun and the moon. So, as those had to be renewed, I guess I was needed to look at the renewal of what was needed and what had to be done. So here I was again in Hawaii. I went with my wife, and we spent a New Year's Eve on that occasion, a New Year's Eve in Hawaii, and that was a nice occasion to see it again, to hear it again, to smell it again, to feel being part of it again. So that was great. The kinetic sequencing, the programming is important, and was one of the attractions. It's still the attractions of having the sculptures in the Capitol. And then the administration, the technical administration, lost track of the timing plans, and they didn't have the plans, so some things rested, so to speak, weren't brought up to date in keeping with renewal. And there was a very eager guide. There were quite several guides in the Capitol, and he would tell the visitors, and I know that from visitors from MIT who were part of the guided tour. He said that the artist who did the sculptures and the timing and the lights and the light design died at one time, and all the lights went off. Okay, that's myth building, but I guess it was interesting for the people who were visiting, how there was a mythical element to all the light play and a connection to the universe. Now there's an anniversary, and I would have loved to go as invited to the anniversary, but couldn't because of other work commitments that I just could not get out of the way. So instead of going to Hawaii again, we found a way of saying how we feel about it, and that's what we're doing here.